know you say you don't particularly like this track, but what's going to be facing these drivers tonight? Well, obviously the chicanes are really in play here, and very, very difficult to thread the car through them effectively. Sometimes you just need a bit of luck, get a little bit of a good bounce, but the rest of the circuit, Conrad, is a bit of a mixture, isn't it? There's some medium speed corners, a couple of fast ones, and then a couple of tight hairpins. So yeah, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on this one. Of course, we've seen some almighty ones in league races here in the past at Zolder, because of the fact that the walls are very close to the circuit. So especially on lap 1, going through a couple of the sections and even off the grid, any sort of accidents will funnel back into the racing line. So that's something we don't really want to see here. We want to see a good race. We want to see all the drivers out there and giving it everything. We've got 18 laps for you tonight. A quick look at the track conditions, and it's 18 degrees air temperature and 20 degrees track temperature. So it's looking very good indeed for some excellent racing. Cool conditions out there. Okay, let's have a quick look at the qualifying standings. And at the minute, it's Joni Häkkinen on pole position, 128.285, and then it's Maxime Briand with the 128.669. Then Michael Parsons just behind him, and then Patrick Kubinji in 4th, only a fraction behind. And Thibaut Probst, Norbert Leitner, Bruno Fontalba, Dickon Whitewood, David Williams in 9th, Moritz Lerner in 10th. 11th is Kevin Mostert, Bastien Remis in 12th, Tommy Usgaard in 13th. 14th is Andres Lanza, Chinmay Punukolu in 15th, Stephen Walkup in 16th, Sergei Zakharov in 17th, with Zoran Klasic in 18th, 19th Kevin Asher, 20th Thomas Ellis, Kim Eriksson will be starting 21st, and Joseph Burton Harris, who won the IMSA race last night on Apex Racing TV, will be starting at the back in 22nd. Right, have a quick look. I just need to quickly check something. Just checking something with the sound. So just bear with me a second. Right, okay. I think we seem to have lost Conrad just for a second. But got me for the moment, at least anyway. Apologies for the silence. I was just having to listen out for something there just for a second. But only a few seconds to go then before the cars will be lining up on the grid. 18-lap race around here. It really is a test of concentration around this circuit, Zolder. And, well, it's going to be an achievement for any of these drivers to get through 18 laps. And Joni Häkkinen do then, I wonder. Starting from pole position. Got a 4/10 advantage in qualifying. Can he keep that during the race? Maxime Briand, of course, we've seen him before many times. He's a good driver. He's very solid. Michael Parsons, Patrick Kubinji, Thibaut Probst. And it's very, very close from, if you look from 2nd down to 13th, there is only 6/10 of a second in it. And Conrad, that should make for some exciting action.
Yeah, hopefully the microphone is working now. Apologies for that little technical issue, but yeah, looking forward to the start of this one. We've got some really quick people at the front of the grid here. And we're just awaiting Heikkinen. Heikkinen's on the grid. Burton Harris, he's still showing up as being in the pits. Kim Eriksson, third place man. They're revving up.
Here we go. Red lights are on here at Zolder.
Green, green, green.
18 laps. Underway now. It's a good start by. It's a great start by Brion. Already drawing past Joni Heikkinen. Heikkinen has the high ground. But Brion running on the outside in the first corner. Lovely move there. If he can keep it.
Couple of cars off. Big accident in the back.
Oh, and Kubinji's half spinning as well, and he loses a place to I think it's number 10. That's Kevin Mostert, who's made an amazing start, and then Mostert hits Kubinji. Oh, and Kubinji hitting Moritz Lerner, and then not David Williams, that was Bastien Remis in trouble, and Norbert Leitner, and all hell broke loose there.
Yeah, we were discussing before the start of the race with the with my mic being off, how treacherous this track is going to be and how many accidents I've seen earlier today. They're still spinning in the first chicane, yeah, this race is no different. Yeah, lots of crashes and yeah, there we go.
We did expect it here. Did expect a few incidents early on. Patrick Kubinji's car is totaled. Joni Heikkinen spins. Oh, sorry, that's Kubinji again. Sorry.
Maxim Brion still leading the way as they come across the line to finish the first lap. Heikkinen right behind him, with Michael Parsons following them, going into turn 1 now. I know we're only at the start of the second lap, but just quickly take stock here. I think we've already lost 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 cars. That's more than 25% of the field already gone.
Quite high attrition rate for these Porsches, I must admit. And now Joni Heikkinen trying to get that lead back that he lost off the start line. Hard on the brakes into the first chicane. The car's flying over the curbs. And Brion going a little bit wide, but managing to survive and staying ahead of Joni Heikkinen. Third place, Michael Parsons, number 15. And then it's number 6, Thibaut Prost, and number 10, Kevin Mostert. Mostert's made an excellent start, Conrad. He started in 11th place.
Yeah, he's already up 6 places. He managed to get through all that carnage at the start of the race. And yeah, up to 5th place and right at the on the back end of this leading group.
Safe to say Thomas Ellis isn't happy with the other drivers, and that's not great. It's the second evening in a row we've had some bit of needle on the chat. Although, you know, as a fairly high strength of field race, Conrad, you kind of expect better than that at the beginning.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. We always get this whole stigma in iRacing sometimes where, you know, lower iRacing guys are blamed for accidents and stuff like that, but it's no different in the higher strength of field races either.
Well, that's it. Bad driving's bad driving, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you've got a 1,000 iRating or a 5,000 iRating. It doesn't matter. And into turn 4 here goes Maxime Brion. Running a little bit wide is Heikkinen, depositing a few stones onto the circuit. Still maintaining this lead. It's going to be hard, isn't it, for these drivers to really make a great deal of headway. David Williams looking up the inside of Tommy Osgaard. They're making contact. Williams dropping back. And that's Dickon Whitewood through into 7th position. So Williams, it didn't work out particularly well for him that time. Tommy Osgaard, well, he held his line, didn't he? Bit of contact was made. And yeah, the Englishman coming off worse on that occasion.
Tommy Osgaard, I think, is sitting at 3rd in the championship at the moment. Once things settle down a little bit, we'll just take a little look and see what the points was like at the start of the week. But Tommy Osgaard, like I say, I know he was 3rd place. Maxime Brion was still leading the way, and he can really do with a good week here. He's been struggling a little bit in these Monday night races, and all the guys behind him has just slowly but surely been catching him in terms of points. And of course, we're in that stage of the season now where drop weeks start kicking in, so it can really cost you if you have a bad week now.
and you're in a league with Tommy Osgard. You know how quick he is, and that makes the efforts of the top 5 even more impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. When we do the BSR races on a Thursday night, the second race is always a reverse grid. It's not long before Tommy shows up behind you, and there's no point in a guy like me fighting him. You just leave the door open and let him through.
I think you're ahead of him in the championship, though. So I think that's
Yeah, that's by virtue of me just showing up more than he did. But,
David Williams, I think he went through on Whitewood there. That was a good move. Into the first chicane, he seems to be quick through that first sector, David Williams. Moving himself up nicely. Yeah, so the retirements, we've lost Thomas Ellis, who's turning the air blue on the iRacing chat, and then Moritz Lerner in 18th place, Bastien Remis, Bruno Fontalba, Sergei Zakharov, and Patrick Kabinji all out. And on lap 4 of the race, it's Maxime Briand, ahead of Joni Heikkinen, then Michael Parsons, Thibaut Probst, and Kevin Moster.
Yeah, we've lost quite a few people. Everybody, I see Burton Harris, Kim Eriksson's in the pits. Yeah, everybody from 15th place down is... Burton Harris actually still running. He's just come out of the pits.
Oh, Ericsson, in fact, just taking passage there, so... Still going. His car doesn't look too close, but he's still out there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Even well, I guess you can count that as a retirement. As we watch Kim Eriksson go past the pit lane, it looks like a bit of a parking lot in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of cars in there already, 6, and then some that look like they should be there. But Burton Harris has managed to gain 8 positions through all that as well. His next target is Andres Lanza. Burton Harris, very quick driver. He won in the Daytona prototype last night in the Insta Sports Car Series at Daytona. So yeah, very proficient Burton Harris, but caught up in that accident earlier on in the race.
Sorry, we've had a change for the lead here.
Oh, of course we have, because I've looked away for a split second, and that's generally what happens. Did you see what happened? Where was it?
Oh, I think we just need to go a little bit further back. We will get it.
So it looks like...
Oh, it's coming out of the first chicane. Heikkinen just had a much better run doing so and overtook him just before they arrived at the second one.
So it looks like Briand hit the second curb, possibly with both wheels instead of one, and that just sent him straight on in the air for a split second, and that was enough to give Joni Heikkinen the advantage. So our pole sitter back up into the lead. He's got 13 laps in which to keep that lead. And look how he's gone away quickly.
Yeah, that gap already up to 0.9 seconds.
And we've got Osgard versus Williams round 2 as well. Williams very quick out of turn 4. Might have got into the chicane. He needs to be more decisive this time, Williams, and he is. He's always got the chicane, I think, Conrad, there.
Is he going to get a corner cut for that?
Yes, he has.
Slow down penalty, rather.
It appears like he has.
That's going to get Whitewood right up to the back of him as well.
Obviously quick is Williams in this race, but yeah, he's tried to overtake Tommy Osgard twice and takes both times, so we'll see whether he can make it the third time lucky.
Yeah, Williams sort of has had an up and down season. We saw pretty much the same trend last season as well. It was really, really quick, but just so often gets in trouble in these uncomfortable situations, and then it's either a crash or a spin, and that really cost him by the end of the season. I think he had to do a lot of races during the week to try and make up for these SOF races, which he didn't do so well in.
And for somebody who's usually a pretty tidy driver, yeah, it's been a surprising number of incidents that he has been in. And now this is the part of the track, Conrad, where he's really strong. Turns 3 and 4. This is where he really closes in on Osgard.
Yeah, we'll see now on the run down to the first chicane. Not quite as close as he was in the previous lap, but you can still see how he closed the gap since he's crossed the start-finish line.
Oh, he was very tidy through that chicane as well. Turns 5 and 6. And then into, this is 8, 9 and 10. Well, it's 8, 9 and 10 in reality, but it says there's only 10 turns on this circuit, Conrad, so I'm sure the corner naming conventions, numbering conventions are a little bit silly. I think they must count that triple chicane as just one corner, which is a little bit bizarre. Now, Williams once more has the advantage. Good traction coming out of the hairpin. Then this final chicane.
Oh, he's looking really good through there, isn't he?
Yeah, very, very close indeed. Over the start-finish line once more. And is he going to duck inside Oscar? No, he doesn't. Because Oscar is suffering here with a bit of understeer. And Williams could have him already before the next corner.
Oh, he's going to put his car up the inside. Yeah.
He's had a bit of an issue with the chicane. Doesn't have an issue this time, although Oscar right behind. He's going to try and fight back here.
Oh, I smell trouble.
Racing Academy car. This time, oh well, that's exactly what happened to Maxime Briand. He just got two wheels on the curb. It looks like the curb just vaulted him into the air slightly. But this time Williams is late enough on the brakes and he manages to stay.
Oh, Oscar's gone.
Oh, he manages to keep it. He only loses one place. Next man is Norbert Leitner, who's a bit in no man's land in 9th position.
Tell you what, David Williams will be extremely pleased to get rid of Oscar and have a bit of clean air to run in.
He would have rather he spun a little bit earlier, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, not 8 laps into the race.
After he'd had like 3 attempts of getting through on him, but hey, look, a pass is a pass, and Williams now on his way. It'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times he sets as well, going forward at least. This time it's a 30.6. That's not a quick lap, but of course that's with an overtake. So Johnny Heikkinen at the moment, class of the field, quite a long way, 129.275. That last time. Maxime Briand did a 29.9, and Michael Parsons actually was very quick on that lap, 129.4.
Yeah, he's been catching Maxime Briand slowly but surely over the last couple of laps. That gap is now down to just about 0.3 seconds, 0.4 as they come to the first chicane. I wonder if Briand isn't just carrying a little bit of damage after that. Yeah, you can see it on the front right of his car.
I think it's when he bounced over the curbs.
It might well be. Those curbs are lethal when you hit them, and whatever car you're driving. Apart from the Jetta, possibly, but that thing's like a tank.
That would just yeah. When you hit the wall in the Jetta, you knock through the wall. Yeah. That's generally what happens. That's if you haven't just understeered through it in the first place. But
yeah, Jetta.
No, the Jetta. Hey look, the Jetta. I mean, last night that was some of the best racing I've seen in a long time in that Jetta category, and in Club 73 Touring Car Championship, and you know, that is a very seldom used car, but it is a very, very good one for racing. Now this is the important one then. For David Williams, I don't think he's got much time to really do anything, but it'd be interesting to see what his time is, and it's a 129.473, and that is quicker than the leader. The fastest man on the track, incidentally, that last lap was actually Michael Parsons, who did a 29.4. So you kind of wonder, have Heikkinen and Briand punished the tyres a little bit too much, because now drivers behind who weren't as quick in qualifying look like they're moving forward a little bit in this race.
I think making a fair point. If you're going to start struggling with tyres around the track, this one will punish you really badly as they come into the second chicane, and through here especially when you're relying on so much traction coming out of the corner.
We were just talking off air. It happened to me in a Blancpain World Championship qualifying race, and the tyres went, and yeah, the pace dropped off considerably. I did bin it later on, but that's not the point. Yeah, it's very traction sensitive, isn't it? And when you start heating up these rear tires, especially the rear engine car, we see all sorts of things going wrong.
Yeah, it's difficult, and there's seemingly no way to bring back the tires and get a bit more out of them. Once they start going, there's only one way for them to go, and that's south.
Yeah, you can sort of stem the, you can sort of stop the bleeding a little bit, can't you? But you can't. Oh no! How by the side of the road? That is Bastien Remis. He's actually got going again. Would you believe? I've had 8 laps down, coming out for an extended test session really now. But oh well, I suppose he'll gain a couple of places by just literally being out on the track.
I think the best he's going to be looking at is not even 16th place. Von Talba is out as well, and 17th, and Tasic is out in 16th as well. So maybe
Yeah,
17th place if he's lucky enough, but that car looks horrible.
I believe unless someone retires on this very lap, I believe he's yeah, that's the most he'll be able to do. But I think that's maybe what he's going to do is go around for a couple of laps and see if he can pick up some points. But he's right in the middle of the top 10 drivers now who are going to be just absolutely they'll just be wanting him to get the hell out of the way. He is doing.
Yeah, there's nothing to gain apart from maybe salvaging some safety ratings. Not much point in just circulating at the moment.
I suppose it might turn it from a really terrible race in terms of safety rating to just a bad one. But the thing is, in fairness, he may have only got, he may have only got 2 or 4 incidents, which if he can complete at least sort of 10 laps, it might not hurt him that badly. I mean, we've got to remember this is an official race, and all these he might be close to a licensed demotion or a promotion, so he might really need those laps.
Kim Eriksson with his smashed up Porsche has just made up a place. He's up into 11th. So
He's doing well.
Yeah, he's up 10 places. So in the grand scheme of things, he's having a blinder.
Damage isn't not affecting him a tremendous. You know what? He's just done a 29.6 as well, which is only 6/10 slower than the leader. So, and that was a special lap from Joni Häkkinen, 29.0. That's the fastest lap. Is that the fastest lap of the race? No, it's not. But it's only 1/10 off it. So Häkkinen is absolutely flying down. And yeah, Ericsson was nearly as fast as. In fact, he was faster, Ericsson, than Michael Parsons in 3rd, and Ericsson's got a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, this Porsche can take a little bit of a beating before it finally gives up as well.
I wonder if we're going to get something between Thibaut Probst and Kevin Mostert for 4th and 5th before the end, because there's less than a second in it, and Mostert now is going to be within that range where he's going to start to pick up the slipstream, just drawing slightly.
Yeah, he was about 2 tenths quicker on that last lap as well. We'll keep a little eye on them, see what that gap does as they come through turn 2, 3, down to 4. Häkkinen at the front in the meantime is just checked out somewhat. He's 2.6 seconds clear. Parsons has lost a little bit of ground to Briand. He's 2nd behind now.
But for Häkkinen, every time that gap seems to just widen a little bit, he puts in a fantastic lap and it just stretches it out. It did go down to 1.6 seconds, but then he put in that 29.0, got it back up to 2 seconds, and then just taking another 3/10 out of him with a 29.2. So very, very strong indeed for Häkkinen.
Yeah, and I think he's in another good one because that gap is still going up this lap. It's up to 3.2 now. While Mostert is closing in on Probst, that gap has come down to just under half a second.
And Parsons then, as well, is right with Maxime Briand as well. So Briand really, he's not really struggling out there. I mean, his lap times are okay, but as you said, this lap potentially hasn't been great. It's been 29.6. Häkkinen is a 28.948, which is very close to the fastest lap of the race. So it's not especially bad driving from Brion. It's just fantastic driving from Heikkinen.
Yeah, these Finns have shown themselves to be a real force this season. They haven't always turned up each week, but when they do, they are really, really quick and they're on it.
Makes you wonder, really, because they'd be able to. Surely they'd be able to challenge for the title if they were at every single race, but yeah, not really at the minute. But
Well,
Kevin Mostert really good through that chicane. There's only 2 or 3 tenths now behind Probst. That'll be putting the pressure on.
just a little bit of wiggle coming out of the chicane. Still on it though. 3.5
Probst.
tenths behind.
Probst is the Frenchman and Kevin Mostert from Benelux.
Mostert is looking really good now.
I wonder if he's going to have a go into the chicane. No, maybe not from that far back. He realises he's quicker. Oh, he just gets a little bit of a swap on through the middle of the final part of the chicane. Means that he just drops back a tiny bit, but it's only a little bit. And a little lock-up from Thibaut Probst. It's normal in this car, isn't it, Conrad? It tends to lock up a little bit.
Yeah, you can get away with a couple of lockups. You've got those warning lights in the cockpit as well, so you normally know which tire it is that you're locking up. And we've got Parsons right up behind Briand now for second place. Looks like Briand has picked up a little bit more damage on the front of his car.
Yeah, let's have a little look at that one. Oh yeah, Parsons is right up his sphincter now, isn't he? Right there. And let's see where he's strong, and let's see where Maxime Briand is good around the Zolder circuit.
Briand had a bad last lap as a 129.8, while Parsons did a 129.4.
Parsons has got very good traction. I bet his tyres are in a lot better shape. What it looks like, at least just by watching the runs he gets off the corner. He doesn't really lose any time, even though Briand is getting on the throttle that little bit earlier. Into turn 1 then, this late apex left-hander. Carry a decent amount of speed through there when you know the line. Then into 2. 2 opens up. 3 is flat usually. And it is for these two. Then 4. This is almost a critical one on the course, really, turn 4, because it really dictates your speed all the way down to the chicane. And now, a great run by Michael Parsons. Got to be a little closer than that to make a pass. Briand good through the chicane that time.
It's really difficult picking your braking point for that chicane if you're behind someone else. So unless you're going to go for an overtake there, then you're usually a little bit earlier on the brakes than you really want to be, and you lose time going through there.
I think you have to be at least marginally alongside to make a move into that chicane. You can have a dive, but we saw earlier on, you may miss the corner completely and get a slowdown, and then you're back to square one, and even worse. So yeah, you need to be careful. Lap 17 has is just about to be started by the leader, Joni Heikkinen of Finland. 29.311 last time. Still a good time.
Just while we're watching Briand and Parsons going around, just for a quick second, I'm just going to throw up the standings from the start of the week, so viewers can have a little look at it. Briand had a comfortable lead earlier in the season. Like I said, that's been chipped away. It's about 23 points. That Sindre Setsas was behind him at the start of the week, and Tommy Osgaard another 30 odd points behind that. But then you also see the Finns. Kim Eriksson is in then 4th place. He's obviously very quick driver. Don't know what happened to him, why he started so far back in this race, but where is he now? He's up into well, 10th place.
Suppose they only get 2 laps in qualifying though, don't they? So possibly just an invalid, maybe both laps invalid, possibly.
Yeah, it would be pretty easy to do around here as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're not kidding. Definitely. Still half a second then separates second and third. Brion and Parsons. It's in fact it's gone out a little bit, hasn't it? It's nearly a second, so it's a good lap for Maxime Brion. And then it's nearly the same gap between Probst and Mostert. David Williams is closing, but he's running out of time. Got the 1 lap to go now as Joni Heikkinen comes across. He takes the white flag for the final tour of this 4.01 kilometre circuit.
You're just going to have a little look at Whitewood and Oscar on this last lap. Oscar has managed to catch up with Whitewood, and he's got 1 lap to make his move. What was the lap times that last time round? Oscar was about 0.2 of a second quicker. Well, it's about the same. Falling by 0.2 in the previous lap.
That's quick through turn 1. Oh, Whitewood really locking up massively.
That's going to be good.
This is going to be a really good chance for Tommy Osgaard, you think? They go through turn 3, turn 4. That's sliding the car. Is he going to be close enough to have a move? This is for 7th place. Who's thinking about one? No, not this time. He's a bit quicker though than Whitewood. Cuts in the slipstream then. Very difficult to have a go into this second chicane. And he thinks about it once more, does Osgaard, but unable to do it this time. We've just got 2 corners to go here for Joni Heikkinen. Well, he started on pole. He lost the lead early on. Maxime Brion got in front of him at the start. But it's been a great fight back from Joni Heikkinen, who wins here in the iRacing Porsche Cup at Zolder. Very good performance from him. Maxime Brion, well, 2nd place. I think he'll be fairly happy with that. That's where he started. Likewise, Michael Parsons in 3rd. And look at this one over the line. Goodness me. Probst and Mostert, very, very close indeed. Thibaut Probst that takes P4. And Mostert, who started 11th. Good performance from Mostert. David Williams going for a ride. And Whitewood and Osgaard, that was actually Whitewood that took that one by a 1/4 of a second. Still coming over the line, actually 14th and 15th. That's Punakolu and Lanza, who were pretty close together. And then Klasic, actually Kubinji, who binned it on the first lap. So Kubinji managed to get out as well. And in fact, Bruno Fontalba managed to get out onto the circuit for a few more laps too. All right, that was pretty good, Conrad. I think it was. It's always difficult to overtake here, as you say, but we did see a few overtaking moves, and it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I think, like you say, we saw a few of them. It's if you want to overtake around here, you do work really hard at it. It's not like you're going to benefit from any long straights where you can make use of the slipstream to help you a little bit. You've got to like put the pressure on the guy a bit in front of you.
Yeah, it's always a tough one, and but Zolder just throw up some usually pretty good racing. So yeah, we've seen another one here today. Right then, everybody, thank you very much then for watching the iRacing Porsche Cup here at Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live. Tune in about, let's see, 4.5 hours time when the Rikmatech Sports Car Series will get underway. Join Adam Bath and Alex Simpson for coverage for that one. Okay then, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll see you then. Good night.